Well, folks, I love doing these kind of, I guess I could call them an exit interview every so often. I've done a couple over the years with folks that are known to the community who are getting ready to move on or retire, and that's what's happening now. I'm at Marmo in downtown Shelton on Coda, just down the street from the Shelton Civic Center, where for the last 7 years, Donna Nault has been the city clerk. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excellent.
You're done.
I'm a little giddy.
I bet you are. So you've been with the city for 7 years. Before that, you were with the school district. Mm-hmm. And now it's time to just live life.
I say sail off into the sunset.
Very nice. Explain what a city clerk does.
It's a really good question because most people have no idea.
Right.
I certainly had no idea when I started. You work closely with the council, the mayor, closely with the city manager. You process public records requests that come into the city, except the police department does their own, the court does their own, but work with all the departments to get records that people request. You're processing ordinances, sending off to be codified. That's a word that I didn't know.
Sure.
You send them to this code publishing company, and ordinances are basically laws of the city. Resolutions are more working products. LTAC, which is Lodging Tax Advisory Committee, the clerk's office manages that. So when you stay at a hotel anywhere, you pay an extra lodging tax, and those funds are dedicated by the state to go into a tourism fund. So agencies, nonprofits, whatever can apply for a grant for tourism,
right,
to attract tourism to your community. So for us, to the city of Shelton.
So for like events and things like that, say we need a little money to help put on this event that we think will bring in people from wherever.
Yeah.
Okay.
To promote your community.
So you've seen some big changes over these 7 years.
It was still a commission when I started.
The 3-person commission was always something people talked about in the city as something that was tough to get anything done because you couldn't really talk with your commission mates. Otherwise, it would be
It's a serial meeting, they call it.
And it would be breaking public...
OPMA, Open Public Meetings Act.
And so you were here, and you undoubtedly worked closely on trying to figure out how it would switch over, and what it would switch over. Mm-hmm. What were your thoughts on that switch over?
Well, when I started, the election had already taken place. They'd already committed to switching from a 3-person commission, which, by the way, Shelton was the last city in the state to have a 3-person commission. So that decision had already been made that we're switching to a 7-person council.
Yeah.
And that occurred in May of 2018. So lots and lots of changes in the municipal code.
Yeah.
Not a commission, now we're a council, those kinds of things, kind of housekeeping changes.
You have to go through and Microsoft Word find and replace.
Exactly.
Council.
Exactly.
Commission.
And swearing them all in, and selection of a mayor and a deputy mayor is done by the council itself.
Did you think that it would be did you think that it was a smart idea to do this?
I did. I didn't get to vote for it because I live in the county. But yes, it seems like 7 minds are maybe better than 3. You have more differences of opinion that can strengthen a decision. So
that first time the new council gets together, what was it like? I mean, how are you? Because you got people who fancy themselves on major Robert's Rules of Orders people.
Yes.
And it's hard to remember all of those.
It's very hard.
Especially for just, citizens who are now taking over these roles.
Yeah, they're new in this position.
Yeah. So how did you work with them on especially those types of things? Like, well,
training,
you can't do that.
And they're required to have Public Records Act and Open Public Meetings Act training within 90 days of taking office. There's a parliamentarian, her name is Ann McFarland, who does a Jurassic Parliament training is what it's called. And it has to do with dinosaurs and all kinds of fun things. And so we did hire her, and she came to the Civic Center to do a training for the council.
And this is, well, we need somebody to make a motion. We need somebody to second and the votes.
What if someone amends the motion? Then what do you do?
Right.
And all of those steps. And the dinosaurs that she uses, some are big and some are smaller. So one's a main motion, and then the smaller one is an amended motion, and she throws them off the table and all. You definitely remember her training. And she also trains clerks.
And so over the years, I've seen in the news a major increase in folks wanting records.
Yes.
Public records requests.
Yes.
How much of your job now has been processing those? And to what cost to the city are those things? And I get that it's a thing, you can do this for sure.
Yeah.
But talking with people in the city, in the county, in the district, in the school district, all over, there's a lot of cost involved in this.
And you don't reap much, what's that called?
You get it back.
The money back.
Yeah.
Because the charge is very minimal.
Yeah.
Copies are like 15 cents.
Sure.
Scans are 10 cents. But if it's an electronic record already, which most entities use electronic records, it is 5 cents for 4 electronic records, not pages. So you may spend 3 hours fulfilling a public records request. They want it electronically. They existed that way. The charge is $2.05. It's just the way it is.
And again, it costs a lot for staff, for you to do this out of the 40-hour work week that you have. If that's 3 hours, plus you're working nights doing the council meetings and things like that. The other thing you've seen over these years is the transition to more of the digital video.
Thank you, COVID.
COVID, because of that, kind of really forcing the city's hand to jump into virtual meetings and things like that.
We did strictly virtual council meetings and study sessions. I think started April 2020 and probably clear through 2021.
Right.
And then we got to where we could have in-person and virtual. You had to do both. But everybody had to be spaced 6 feet apart.
Yeah.
And if you weren't vaccinated, you had to wear a mask. And there was a 30-second delay.
Sure.
In the whole process. So it was challenging. But one good thing that came out of that is the council packets. When I started, were all paper. In binders, certain colors of paper for certain things. Well, in COVID, it had to be electronic. And it still is electronic today. So that is helpful.
How are you? I mean, so if you get council members up on the commission there, up on the council dais, and they kind of, I don't know, start getting a little too big for their britches, or they start thinking that the way they're wanting to do things is a little better than everyone else's. How do you handle that?
I do nothing.
What do you mean you do nothing?
Whose
job is that then?
That's the mayor's job.
Oh. And the mayor needs to then say...
If somebody is sort of making comments on every single thing and not giving other council members a chance to speak, it's his job to sort of monitor that and manage that. And the same if there was a public outburst in the audience.
Right.
That's also his job.
And you've seen those.
Absolutely. And they're not my favorite.
No. And do you feel like they've gotten, I don't even know, more people feel more emboldened, entitled over these last 7 years to make those types of comments?
Yeah. It depends on the member of the public and what their complaint is or their focus or, and you can come to council meeting and you can speak for 3 minutes on anything.
Yeah.
Or something that's on the agenda. You can't speak at a study session. You can attend, it's open to the public, but there's no public comment. But you can speak to any subject that you like.
Are the same topics from when you first started 7 years ago, kind of the same topics that people are talking about now? I mean, has there been a lot of change? Have you seen a lot of change that somebody goes, all right, well, I guess we're done talking about this one. Move on to the next one.
I would say yes and no. Discussion about homeless issues.
Yeah.
That will probably go on forever. Because it's a complicated situation. There's no easy answer. And the council also has to follow the laws. They can't do something that they deem is necessary if it's against the law.
Right.
They can't do it. Or if some member of the public, is putting pressure, you got to do something. Well, they're limited with what they can do.
So if there is something some suggestion a council member makes that's against the law, is that your job to tell them, or does that get flushed out in some other meeting? Or
that would be something Mark Ziegler, city manager, would discuss with council after the meeting. They have briefings with him to discuss what's coming up on the council meeting, study sessions, any questions they may have, especially if they're new. That's really helpful.
Right.
So, I may help Mark with that, but it wouldn't take place during the meeting.
You said you're Switzerland. Is that difficult sometimes?
Yes, but I've had a lot of practice.
I'm sure.
I've had a lot of practice.
And explain what that would mean to somebody. I mean, we traditionally know that phrase as somebody who's neutral. They don't take a side on how either person is talking about whatever. So what does that mean to you to be Switzerland as the clerk? You just offer the same.
I don't give my personal opinion on any subject they may be discussing. My husband knows my opinion for sure. But I recently had someone in the public, a business owner, that was asking me questions about it, and what do I think about so and so? And I said, I can't share my opinion. I'm neutral. Right. I'm doing my job on the clock, off the clock. And I don't think the city clerk's position is to sway anyone's opinion about what's going on. It is the council's job to set policy. And then we as staff do what they ask.
One thing that I have seen at the meetings and virtually on Mason Web TV, or I guess you guys do it through your own video stuff now.
On YouTube.
Not many people show up to these things.
No, not unless it's a hot topic.
Unless it's a hot topic, and then it's packed, and then the next week it's back to nobody.
Yeah.
How difficult is that to build policy around the limited number of people that are there? I mean, the purpose of city government and open government is to have these conversations and to make changes and affect the 12,000 people or whatever are in the city, and there's 6 people at the meeting and maybe 3 watching online.
Yeah.
And then people go, whoa, I didn't know.
I don't know how much more we can broadcast when they are standard.
And you send those
meetings.
Out too, and they're always the same.
Yeah,
that's the other part of your job too, is to make sure it notices.
Yep. Like today, we have an employee picnic, like an annual employee appreciation.
Yeah.
If there's a chance that 4 council members are going to be there, I need to notice it.
Yeah.
24 hours ahead. Now with commission, you had to notice everything.
Sure.
Which I only did that, for a handful of meetings
and events.
And I wasn't the clerk then. I was the admin assistant in the clerk's office.
Who's doing the job now? Who's going to take over?
Mary Ricker.
Is she?
She is. She's deputy city clerk. She became deputy city clerk in February, and she's still communications specialist.
Does she have a badge? Like a deputy badge?
I didn't wear mine. No, we have IDs.
Yeah.
And during the Chambers Expo, I got a junior badge,
deputy
sticker
badge
from the police department.
Take it.
That works.
Well, that's good. Mary's been around for, let me think
almost
here,
6
5
years.
Yeah, okay.
October, I think, is 6 years.
Just before COVID. I remember when she came into town and we had our first couple conversations at the radio station just down the street from the Civic Center on Coda. And so she's known. Is she going to do both jobs then?
It'll be combined, which many cities do.
Communications and clerk?
Communications and clerk, yeah. And there will be an admin assistant as well.
Why was I under the idea that the clerk was elected job.
It's not elected. It has been appointed in the past.
Okay.
And Mark Ziegler would know exactly how this goes, but I think in the change of government or something changed. And, all staff is hired by the city manager.
Right.
And the clerk is too. Jeff Knighton is the one who interviewed me when he first came. So they say appointed by the council or appointed by the city manager. So Mary had to apply just like anyone else and be interviewed.
Yeah, because it's all public.
It's all public.
And that's the thing that I think a lot of folks don't quite understand too when it comes to how a city does business. You have your fees and your taxes and your rates and things like that, but just like any home business or home or single person business, you have bills, and you get the garbage bill and the power bill and insurance bills.
Insurance has gone up so much.
How does all that impact the decisions that you hear the council members trying to struggle with?
Well, we had a retreat it was May, Cinco de Mayo. We had a retreat at MTA for the council and talking about service levels and what services that we offer are important to the council members, and maybe is there something we shouldn't be doing, and try to narrow it a little bit that way and then apply the dollars to it. So it's difficult because revenue, you have taxes, you have fees, you have utility rates, but those don't go up as much as, say, insurance. It's gone up a lot. 60%, I think, over the last few years.
Do you add input on those in those situations and kind of give an institutional knowledge or a guidance on if you're going to do this, be aware that it may have a ripple to this other portion of government? Do you do
it's
that
usually
too?
the leadership team meets with council, and that's what happened at the retreat. Of course, the finance department is heavily involved in it. But we're studying the budget with council probably 6 months out of the year.
Do people in the public or even maybe council members, when you have to offer your neutral advice, have there been times where the public assumes that you're not neutral? Have you ever run across that?
I haven't. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I haven't had anybody say,
well, I mean,
said that.
Sure.
What do you? No, I'm pretty.
But again, if you say you can't do that,
because it's against
the law.
So you want to argue about that? Go to Olympia.
Okay, that makes sense. What have you seen over these years that's been a positive direction for the city, especially when the council kind of starts getting their groove, maybe, or now that it's been 7 years since there's been 7 on there, people understand how it works.
Yes.
So what have you seen as a positive changes over these last couple of years from the city?
I think one of the most positive things has been the Veterans Village.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember, because that, I believe, was city property, and we sold it to them for a, really good price. And, there was a big process to go through for the village to come, and that's one particular meeting where we had a lot of public comment.
Was it mostly
against? It was against.
So I remember when they first started coming around, and we talked about the, OMAC? Ording has a similar one.
And Olympia does too,
Olympia
I think.
one does too. And I think if you looked at them both on a side-by-side, the Ording model seems to be a little more representative of what the Shelton model has turned out to be.
Yes.
And the Olympia.
Everyone loves it now.
Yeah.
It's made a difference.
But the initial claims or whatever were that it would turn into like a tent city, like
yes,
what
it'll
Olympia
be a state of disarray. There'll be criminal activity and
right.
and there's none of that. It's a community And it's right near Christmas Village.
Yeah.
Those two communities have a lot of things in common.
Yeah. So that's been a really good one. And
It's been a good one.
I've seen I remember them building that and getting kind of the first sets of tours in there, and it was just, it seemed like, and doing the interviews, it seemed like it was a good idea. And I think that goes back to what I was talking about earlier, where if there's only a half dozen people at these meetings, they don't fully understand the positive potential impact of these things.
And the whole process that has to happen to make something like that.
How difficult is it for these council members to get the information, make thoughtful decisions, stay within the bounds of the law and all those things, knowing that, one person on social media is going to say one thing that's not at all accurate, and it can really sway and impact these decisions.
I think that's one of the most difficult things they have to do as a council member. Social media can be a nightmare to deal with, honestly, because of misinformation. But the council can, if they have questions or want to talk about it, Mark is available 24/7 practically, and he will listen to their questions, give them more information, whatever needs to be done so they can make a good decision.
What have you seen in the changes of council members as they start to get comfortable in their positions? I have personal thoughts on this and how I've seen people kind of evolve in their thoughtfulness, I guess, in ways.
They sort of come out of their shell a little bit when they have a good understanding of what their role is and what the project is, whether it's, paving roads or Coda Street. That was our most recent study session. This has been a big topic of discussion.
And it still has. I still see people post about it online.
Yeah.
And they
don't like it.
They don't understand the concept behind it. Well,
what was the goal? The goal was to slow down
traffic.
And that we succeeded in that.
I remember when the roundabout came about.
Yes,
and
people
then
didn't like that either.
How we're not Seattle.
Yeah, but look, that's a very dangerous intersection. And I don't think there's been an accident there since the roundabout went in. It's a very simple roundabout, one lane.
Right.
Yeah, but people did not like it.
How does the council, the clerk, the communications, anybody in the city that needs to tell folks about these things, how do they go? I mean, how do they do it in a way that people won't just automatically have their minds made up and their wall up in front of them, and they're not going to listen because whatever you say, either you're from the government, you're quote I'm here to help, one of those old phrases.
Here to help,
and to really show that there's a lot of. It's not like Shelton invented the roundabout.
No.
And they've never tried it ever in the world.
It's brand new.
It's, I remember talking about how folks in Iowa were saying we didn't want this, and now all of a sudden it saves on gas, it saves on this and that and the other thing. And
I always invite people to go back, and you can read council packets. They're all on the website. So are videos of the meetings, both study sessions and regular meetings. Go back and get the information. You can read it, you can watch it. If they want more specifics, I could give them, maybe some dates that they could look at. That way they have the information to make an informed decision instead of maybe what their bias is or what their neighbor down the street told them.
So Mary's ready to go. You've got, as of taping this, hours.
I have 2 3/4 of a day. Days, yes. And my last day is a council meeting. I told Mark I'll be there.
And that's when you're just going to let it all out.
Nope. Have you met me? I don't do that.
You. I don't like your haircut. You.
No.
You're too tall. None of that?
None of that.
Well,
No.
it's a good legacy to continue on that tradition of an independent mindset. And I kind of think, for those who have never been to a council meeting or never seen one, or then they hear about the implications of what has happened, you've got to have someone there to, here's your packet you requested, here's the packet you requested.
And we have to keep good records of all that to prove, we followed the law.
You tried.
Here's what we gave you. Here's the timeline. Because they can sue. You can sue anybody for anything in the United States of America.
Why does it take so long to get things done in city government?
Man, that's a good question. Part of it is the way our meetings are set up. I think the reason is to make sure the public is informed. So if a topic is coming, and it goes on this document called Looking Ahead, which is published with every packet, and it goes out a couple months usually. So it's on there, and then it's going to be a business item. So say Public Works will present this item to council, give them all the details, and then at the next meeting, which is 2 weeks away, it'll be on action. So council's had time to read it, ask questions of them, talk about it with Mark, talk about it at the council meeting.
Yeah.
And then it's on action, and they make a decision there, and then that resolution passes or the contract is signed, those kinds of things. So part of it is that process, so the public
can be there,
has time, and they can give their input on everything.
And at any portion of that, they can say, well, we need a little more time, let's table this.
Yes, they can.
Do you think that the majority of the council members do enough of their homework?
Are you going to make me be Switzerland?
You don't have to say any names. You can say over the course of the 7 years.
Some do and some don't. That's what I'll say. And everyone, they all should. They all should. That's their job.
Yeah.
They're elected to represent the residents of the city of Shelton.
Do you think that there should be districts? Is that even workable?
I think it is. I know for sure it could be set up so that the citizens, residents, elect the mayor. Some cities are set up that way.
Yeah.
I'm sure districts is doable, but it might be hard to get enough people to run for council.
Yeah.
You might have a district where there's nobody who wants to run, and then what do you do?
Right. Well, then you come out of retirement.
I will never run for office, ever.
I guess so. That is a thing, too, you've probably seen over the years from the initial onset. I remember those first council member public forums we would do. And it was, I guess, maybe because it was a new and novel thing. There was folks all the woodwork. They came out to be on this thing.
Yes.
And over the years, and maybe it's because of the public perception of city government or government in general or the politics of all this stuff, those numbers have gone way down in engagement.
And social media plays a big part in this, too. Do you want to be attacked every single day
every
on
day,
social media?
Every
day.
And these people aren't making a ton of money. The money, I remember
$500 a month.
The commission made okay
much
money.
Much more.
But then they kind of just
there was only 3.
Yeah. Now they had to divide it by 7.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have to also think about that.
You
is
have
it
to
worth
want
your
to do
time?
this. You're not making bank.
Yeah, you're not going to retire off of this.
No, you're not.
And unfortunately, you can only be yelled at, even if you don't have social media.
It's difficult.
You can only be yelled at for so long until you're like,
It's
I'm
not
done.
worth it anymore.
No.
It's really.
I'm trying
It's really difficult.
my hardest based on what I feel.
And I have to follow the laws.
Yeah, that's the other
Not
thing.
just your opinion times 1,000.
Yeah. Do you think that the council members push back enough to their supporters or explain the legalities of some of their ideas they come to them? Or do they just go, yeah, thanks for the input,
Well,
and then they think
at a
that
council
that's...
meeting, they can't respond then.
Yeah.
We can get contact information and, get back to them later.
Say it on the street.
But, yeah.
I mean, I see everybody walking around. They get pulled and say, why don't you just... homeless. Why don't you just arrest them all or kick them out or
not
give them
illegal
a
to be
bus
homeless.
give them a bus
Yeah,
ticket?
we hear this all the time. That's against the law. You can't do that. You can't bus them out.
So then, does the council do a good enough job in the public response to that, do you think? And if they did, then would there be as much outreach?
I think it depends on the council member and maybe how much experience they have doing that. Their understanding of what can be done and can't be done, it's kind of on an individual basis.
You can answer this one if you want or not, but who do you think over the years has been some of the council members that have really put in the effort or the understanding to the issues? Who
I can think of two right now. Joe Schmidt.
Sure.
And Deidre Peterson.
Okay.
Just straight to the top of my head. Yeah.
And what was it about their ethos or their work ethic that you are saying?
They're all in. They're all in. Joe worked for Department of Transportation, so he has a lot of knowledge about road work and projects and timelines and dollars. He had that knowledge. Deidre, Chamber of Commerce, heavily invested in our community, and she knew those parliamentary procedures for sure.
Yeah.
I miss both of them.
How often have you seen, and now I'm going to phrase this so you don't have to say anybody's names. How often have you seen someone come into the council for what it appears to be solely for their personal benefit?
I don't know that I can give you a number, but it's definitely happened.
And how quickly do either they go, boy, this was not the job I thought it was, I'm out of here, I'm definitely not running for re-election, stuff like that?
I think because they're elected for 4 years.
Yeah.
And, just like any of us, it's a new job. They don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
But they learn and usually grow from that. And maybe their pet project or the reason they ran, maybe they understand,
this is not quite right.
I can't, we can't do that.
Sure.
And sort of get more educated, and maybe there's another way to solve whatever the problem was or the issue.
Have people pulled you aside at the end of their terms and gone, gosh, yeah, I thought this was totally different than what I got myself into. This
Yes.
was a lot tougher.
Yes.
Once I realized that...
No one said, this is way easier than I thought.
Sure.
No one has ever said that.
How come nobody comes out and says that while they're in office? Boy, this is a lot tougher than I thought, and I really am... I'm not necessarily in over my head, but this is... No, wait, hold on. How come it seems like they'll run on an issue that the council are idiots? These people don't know what they're doing. I'm going to come in and I'm going to get this figured out. And then they get in and they realize, oh, wow, these guys are doing what they're supposed to do based in the constraints of what the law says. I had no idea.
And you're also one of 7.
One of 7, you got to...
So you either got to convince 3 others that your idea is the way to go.
Right.
It has to be legal. I think that happens a lot. I think Deputy Mayor Sherman has spoken recently about how she processed the information and how long it really takes to learn all of this, because many things are cyclical.
Mm-hmm.
They only come up once a year.
Yeah.
So it takes a while to figure that out. And, they all have city cell phones. So any city business needs to be on that cell phone.
Right.
Not your personal. Deidre was fabulous about this. If somebody reaches out to you and it's really city business, it's on your personal phone, you need to respond to them to say, you need to reach me on this number and then forward that message, because that's a public record as well.
Sure. And that includes, too, I think I remember some issues that popped up with people on Facebook and Messenger and all that stuff.
Yeah,
communication is communication.
I was a brand new baby city employee, and I remember
that.
It was difficult. It had to stop. It can't happen.
And is that because people are like, oh, well, it's just Shelton? We're a small
sometimes,
town.
which I don't like. I don't like that. Yeah, they did it. Yeah, Shelton. Yeah.
It's fine.
Like the redheaded stepchild to
Yeah,
Olympia.
right.
No, we're
It's,
not.
It's just
No, we're not.
we do things differently here.
But we don't
It's the law.
for the entire state. Yeah,
What do you want to tell Mary? I'm sure you've already told her plenty.
I've told her a lot.
What do you want to tell her that other folks can take to heart when it comes to clerking for the city?
Neutrality, for sure, and try to say this without crying.
Well, I can tell that how important this is to you.
So I've been cleaning out my office, and I have, cards and things from people over the past, and so I'm taking them home. And I have a card from former city clerk Vicki Look.
Oh, I remember
Who?
Vicki. Yeah.
Jamie Mell was the clerk when I started.
Yeah.
And then she went on back to her real estate. And so Vicki was, at that time, the interim city manager. So I learned almost everything in the beginning from Vicki. Learned about this Northwest Clerks Institute that takes place at the University of Puget Sound. It's specifically for municipal clerks for Washington, Oregon, and Alaska. The best training ever for clerks. Anyway, so I have this card from Vicki when she retired. And, it says lots of nice things. But the thing that I told Mary, it says, stay tough.
Yeah.
You have to develop a thick skin, which right now I don't have.
Have people, over the years, even being a neutral party that people understand, if they go to their parliamentary training, they try to, I guess, bully you
Yes.
into
Yes.
changing it? Or how would you even overlook this? Or
You can't.
Yeah.
You have to have integrity. You have to. Transparency, integrity, and you have to be approachable. People need to know that they could talk to you about anything. If they have a question, just call.
Yeah.
And Mary will do that just fine.
She's been great over the years,
Yeah.
knowing her and the city and the outreach that she does. Well, what's next for you?
Well, we're going to Pennsylvania,
Okay.
Mark and I, to go visit our daughter and son-in-law and grandkids. Our son is going to come too for about a week.
Because
so
this job
that'll be
isn't
fun.
really a job where you can take a lot of time.
No,
There's council
no.
meetings all the time.
No, you
You're
can't.
always
Yeah.
okay.
So we've got travel, and we just got a new little kitten. We've had her for about 6 weeks. So
Oh my.
that's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
She is a character like no other. So lots of trips to the beach, maybe road trips around the country, whatever we want.
Whatever you want. I ran into Mark on Friday
At the golf tournament.
At the golf tournament.
Love Inc.
And he's having a good time with his now 3 years of retirement. And so you guys are doing this at a great time, getting out of the city. You'll still be around.
Oh, absolutely.
Still got to head up to the Lumen Field.
Yep. Music in the park, all those empty bowls, all those fun things. Yoga classes.
You mentioned all those things just now, and it's popped into my head that as the clerk, it probably is a little easier to go and do these events. It's not like you're a council member,
No.
persona non grata. You're
That's
like,
right.
oh, geez, you voted against.
Most people have no idea
Right.
what I do, who I am.
I want to keep it that way.
Yeah. I like to be behind the scenes rather than elected for office or something crazy.
Sure. Well, famous last words. We'll see what happens in the future. You never know when the call comes. I appreciate this time talking with you. It's fun to kind of reflect on a job that a lot of people don't quite understand.
Yeah, they really don't. I certainly didn't either.
So
but
if
it's
you
really
knew,
important.
if you knew what you knew now, would you apply for it?
Yes.
Still would
Because
have?
I'm detail oriented. I like to organize things and follow the rules. I'm a rule follower for sure.
And that's one of the important things. trust, integrity, follow the rules.
And, I have this little card on my desk that I got from the Northwest Clerks Institute, and it talks about the city clerk being the liaison between the community and their local government. And that's exactly what it is.
Interesting. Very cool.
So I'm leaving that little card for Mary.
You
I'm not
should.
going to need it.
No. And I'm sure that you probably not going to change your phone number on her, block her.
She knows she can call me.
Gotta get in touch somehow. All right. Well, geez, it was nice talking with you.
You too, Jeff.
And I'm so happy that you're...
I'm sorry, I got emotional.
No,
there,
that's
but it's just...
that's great. That'll be good for my likes and clicks. And no, that was... I'm happy that you were able to share those stories.
They're important,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah. Well, good luck
Thank you.
with Mark. I know he can be a challenge sometimes.
He can, but he's a heck of a lot of fun.
Yeah. And we'll see you out there. And
Oh, yeah.
you'll be representing and being still a great supporter and advocate and cheerleader for the city of Shelton.
Absolutely. Yes.
Good things to come, as always.
Exactly.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Jeff.